The thriller's gone. The thriller's gone away. The thriller's gone. The thriller's gone away. You know you done me wrong, baby, and you'll be sorry someday. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are looking at the chords for The Thrill Is Gone by the great B.B. King. I'm going to show you a kind of a nice rhythm version like you might have heard him play if he played rhythm guitar. So the kind of part that the rhythm guitar players in his band might have done, because B.B. didn't really play much rhythm guitar. And I'm also going to show you a kind of a beginner's version, really, because it's such a lovely song, and I know a lot of people are missing B.B. And might like to play this tune. So there's a way of using nice open chords as well, and using a capo at the 2nd fret. So let's start off with a description of what the chord progressions are. So it's a 12-bar blues. It's a minor blues. Okay, so as opposed to a regular blues, which are normally kind of major, this one's a minor blues. It's got a little sadder kind of a quality to it. And the chord that I'd recommend that we start off with is a B minor 7 chord. So most of you probably know a B minor bar chord up at the 7th fret. We're using the first finger to bar the whole of the 7th fret, and we're using our 3rd finger in the 9th fret of the 5th string and little finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string. That would be a B minor chord, regular B minor. A chord that sounds nice for this song is to play B minor 7, and we get to that just by lifting off the little finger. So we've got 7th fret, 9th fret, 7th fret, 7th fret, 7th fret, 7th fret. Okay, we're going to play that chord for 4 bars. So the thrill is gone. 2nd bar. The thrill is gone away. 1, 2, 3. The thrill is gone. And now we're going to go to an E minor chord, E minor 7 chord again, actually. Again, if you know E minor, let's start off with that. You don't want to play the thickest string. Then you want 7th fret, 9th fret, 9th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret. Okay, if you're not sure about these bar chords, there's plenty of lessons on my website. If you just type bar chords into the search box, you'll find plenty. Yeah, part of my intermediate course. That would be an E minor, and then if you lift off the little finger, you'll end up with an E minor 7. So nothing on the thicker string, then 7th fret, 9th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret. Okay, and we'd have that for 2 bars. And then we go back to B minor 7. Again for 2 bars. Now the next chord that we'd come to is this a G major 7th chord, and there's a few different ways to play it. The one I like to use for this particular song is using the little finger on the 10th fret of the 5th string. We're not playing the thicker string, by the way. The 3rd finger going down on the 9th fret of the 4th string, and then a bar with the 1st finger barring the thinnest 3 strings at the 7th fret. So nothing, then 10, 9, 7, 7, 7. That's the grip of the chord that I like best. But you could also, another common way of playing the G major 7 is putting the 1st finger in the 10th fret of the 5th string. Again, we're not playing the thicker string. 3rd finger in the 12th fret, 2nd of the 4th string, 2nd finger in the 11th fret of the 3rd string, little finger in the 12th fret of the 2nd string, and then you can use the bar to play the 10th fret of the thinner string. So that's another way of playing the chord, but I find I don't like that top D note there. I prefer the sound of that chord. I'm not exactly sure why, but that would be the correct chord. And then it goes to an F sharp 7 chord. Now again, there's a couple of different ways to play it. The one I prefer to play is this one, which is nothing on the thicker string, and then 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 5th string, 2nd finger in the 8th fret of the 4th string, little finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, and 1st finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Not playing the thinner string at all. It's like a C7, but moved up, so your 3rd finger's in the 9th fret. It's the one that I prefer, but you could also play like what would be an A-shaped bar chord, I guess, which is probably what you'd use if you used this G major 7 here. You'd probably move it down a fret, lift off your 2nd finger, so you end up with nothing on the thicker string, 7th fret, 9th fret, 11th fret, 9th fret, 11th fret, 9th fret. That would most likely be the grip that you'd use. And then you're going back to the B minor 7. So let's put that, I'm just going to play it once for each bar now, and I'll do the count so you can make sure you're hip with where the chords change. It's just a 12-bar blues, but it's a little bit different because it's this minor blues. So starting on the B minor, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and now over to the E minor 7, or just a regular E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to B minor 7, or just B minor. 1, 2, 3, 4 to G major 7, 2, 3, 4 to F sharp 7, 2, 3, 4, and back to B minor 7 for 2 bars. Okay, some people like to put another little F sharp 7 on the end there, which you can do as a little turnaroundy kind of thing. You don't need to, it's not on the record, and I think it sounds perfectly fine to not do that. But you can choose which, you might use some other chords. You might decide that you want to play B minor 7 down here at the 2nd fret. There's lots of different ways of embellishing these chords and making them more fancy, but remember that it's much more important for it to be groovy and in the pocket than it is to be fancy. Sometimes it's better to stay with the simple chords and make it feel good. So one of the grooves that you might want to think about playing for this, because you could do kind of almost any sort of strumming pattern if you want, but I really like having this accent on 2 and 4, and you quite often hear that either in the piano parts on his records or on a rhythm guitar player if he's got this kind of. And it's really this 1, 2, 3, 4, this really heavy accent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what's going on is I'm playing the whole chord, but I'm playing the bass notes of the chord, not just the one string, but a few strings. 1, 2, and on beat 2, I'm doing a very snappy kind of quick chord. I'm pressing down the chord and I'm trying to release it straight away. I'm not using the muting with the picking hand. Sometimes I do, but you want to get it just from this pressing the chord down really quickly and then releasing it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Get really kind of the bass is ringing out, and then you get that little snap there. So the rhythm I'm doing is 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, there's lots of other ways of doing this kind of backbeat. The backbeat is the 2 and the 4, normally played by the snare drum. There's lots of different rhythms that can accent that backbeat, but you can choose, and this is a good one to start off with, and then let it develop a little bit on your own. So just practice it again with all of these things. If they're new, just work on them a little bit in there, on its own. So just having the 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Really trying to get that nice and sharp. That's what you want to go for. A nice bit of reverb as well helps. Really work on that as a groove, and then you'd be doing that for 4 bars and then move to the E minor. Or the E minor 7 I was playing. With the E minor 7, if you're doing this kind of thing and you're strumming the bass, make sure the first finger's muting the thickest string as well, because if that rings out, actually in this case it doesn't matter because it's the low E note anyway, but you want to get in the habit of doing that. And then back to your B minor 7. Same thing again, G major 7 to F sharp 7, back to your B minor 7. Just concentrate on trying to make it feel nice rather than trying to get it fancy. That would be my strongest advice for any of these kind of rhythmic things. But do experiment as well. If you're playing it in a band, it could be quite nice to reach out and try adding in some extra chords. Instead of B minor 7, maybe you're going to play B minor 9. Ooh, getting all fancy. kind of thing. You know, there's lots of ways of exploring it, but make sure it's groovy before it gets fancy. So let me run through a kind of a beginner version as well. I probably should have done this at the start thinking about it, but so in order to play it along with the record and to keep the chords the same as what I've just been describing, we need a capo or capo on at the 2nd fret. So to get a B minor chord with a capo on the 2nd fret, we want to play an A minor grip. Okay? If you want to make that an A minor 7, just take your regular A minor chord and lift off your 3rd finger. Okay? And then you're going to have your A minor 7. Okay? The next chord that we needed was an E minor or an E minor 7, and with the capo at the 2nd fret, that would become a D minor shape. So you can just play a regular D minor or a D minor 7. If you want, that would be nothing on the thickest 2 strings, open, 2nd, 1st, 1st. Just a lot of people don't seem to be familiar with D minor 7. And then back to the A minor 7. Now the G major 7 chord, with the capo on the 2nd fret, looks like an F major 7, okay? So nothing on the thinnest 2 strings, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of that's 3 frets higher than the capo, not the actual 3rd fret. 3 frets higher than the capo, 3rd finger on the 4th string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 1st finger, 1st fret of the 2nd string, and an open thinnest string. Okay? And then it goes to an E chord. It would be it's actually an F sharp chord here because we've got the capo, but it's an E shape. So if I just play that through, thrill is A minor. The thrill is A minor in a way. And then we're changing to D minor for 2 bars. Then we're going back to A minor for 2 bars. And then we're going to F major 7, and then to E, and then back to A minor for 2 bars. And so it goes on. So doing the really heavy backbeat on 2 and 4 and being able to lift up the fingers, so doesn't kind of work so well with the open chords because you can't lift your fingers up, but you can kind of do it. I'm just going to turn the volume down a bit because I feel if you're doing this open chordy stuff and I don't feel I've got as good a control of it, so I want to turn the volume down, cleans it up a bit. But you can do a mute with the outside of the picking hand to have. Doesn't kind of feel as nice for me. It feels like I'm having to concentrate rather than just playing it and being in the pocket. But you can do that just literally 1, 2, and then having to bring your hand around. Feels a little bit awkward, so I'd be more inclined if I was doing an open version, and I think most kind of beginner guitar players are going to look for something more simple than that. So you know, just strumming once or twice a bar and having thrill is gone, the thrill is gone away, this kind of thing. The thrill is gone, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That kind of strumming pattern I think will make a lot more sense than trying to get too fancy if you're doing the simple chords. If you want to get fancy with the rhythm, you probably want to get your bar chords down. That's what I would recommend. So I really hope you enjoy learning this. I just filmed a lesson for the intro solo, so if you're a fan of BB, you might want to go and check that out as well. It's deceptively difficult. It kind of looks simple at first glance, but to make it, you know, sound right takes a little bit of work. It's not as simple as it first looks, but it's a lot of fun, and now's a great time. You know, BB just passed away last week, so I hope that you will pay your respects and learn this great tune and go and check out more of his amazing music, because he's left us a lot to enjoy forever, which is fantastic. He had a great long life, did BB, and he was respected and loved in his lifetime, which doesn't happen for many great artists. So I think we should be happy that it happened, not sad because it's over. Anyway, see you for plenty more lessons very soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.